Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, Rat Salad Review Network has plenty of shows to choose from. Like Rat Salad Review, where they discuss the latest rock and metal news, as well as interviews and albums. Album vs. Album, the King Diamond Podcast, with Wayne Noon, Greg Noggle, and sometimes this guy.
Smack 'em a gob!
Ralph Vieira is also on our network with the Vieira Vault. There's also Old Man Metal's Musings, where he discusses heavy metal and beer. Music is Life with Lou Mavs. The Right Opinion for those who love politics. A South Park podcast called Suck My Balls. The Infinite Fringe, a watch-along wrestling show called Beyond Bushido. Ex-Stradivarius guitarist, the Timo Tolkki podcast. And the Great Harry Barnett with I Don't Even Like Podcast and the Laughcast. So check out ratsaladreview.com or search Rat Salad Review on YouTube, Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and more.
Wayne's doing all he can to avoid talking about death metal.
No, I'm not. No, not at all. He's got to be frozen like that. Welcome down versus album. We are here with Angel Cotte. What's up, Angel?
What's happening?
Not much, man. It's been a while since we had you on the show.
Has it?
Yeah,
it was like 3 months? 2 months? Something like that?
Something like that. Whatever. Actually, and you'll be coming up soon, within another couple more months when you come on the King Diamond show. We have your episode ready to go.
Oh, shit.
Yep, that'll be up soon.
Yeah. I forgot what I said.
We talked about In the Shadows.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. Merciful Fate.
Yep. That'll be up soon. But how's everybody doing? Everybody all right?
Pretty good, man. It's been a pretty fucking good day. I got to listen to 2 Death albums in a row. It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
Good choices, Angel. Although I have to say, when it came down to it, very frustrating trying to make it.
That's why I picked it. That's why I picked them, man. I didn't.
What'd you pick, by the way? Because we got to get to that. What'd you pick?
So the album versus album, I decided to do a Death's Leprosy versus Symbolic.
Leprosy here.
There you go. You got that one versus. So you got the same band, 2 different records with 2 completely different lineups.
And
Which you can say about any 2 Death albums.
2 different periods of Chuck's musicality, too.
Sonically, yes.
Yeah, 2 very different visions of what he wanted to do with death metal, but both excellent.
Yeah. Exactly. It's album versus album. I don't do things like that. I talk with my friends. Oh, what's the better album? What's this? So when Wayne hit me up about this, I was like, oh, you know what? Let me make it interesting. And just one of the greatest bands of all time. That if you ask me, there's not a bad death album.
There isn't.
Really?
No,
isn't even a
there
bad
is
death
not.
song.
So I mean, he put out a solid 7 out of 7.
Really? This is my first time
And
I've
if you
heard
include
any
Virus.
Death album, by the way.
I mean, Sound of Perseverance, I hate the Painkiller cover. I'm not going to lie. I really wish that didn't end that record.
No.
All right.
No.
I never heard it.
It's I would like it
Shame on
more if it was a B-side. But it kind of ruins the flow of that record.
It's weird because I remember when that album came out and it had Painkiller on it. Then I had read later on that Painkiller wasn't supposed to be on the U.S. version of that record. It was only supposed to appear in the Japanese version of Sound of Perseverance. And then for whatever reason, Relapse decided to just throw it on there anyway. At least that's what I read.
Bad decision on their part.
I dig the cover.
I like how Nate is very considerate tonight and holding the mute button down while he's eating his chips. I applaud you. You're learning.
Oh. I mean, I love Death, though. They're in my top 5 favorite bands of all time. I actually have the logo from my original T-shirt I had when I was 13 cut out and stuck to my wall now because the rest of the shirt is long gone.
All right. That's awesome. Yeah, that's killer, dude. I was fortunate enough to see them live, the Sound of Perseverance tour.
That's the same year I saw them.
Yeah, with Hammerfall.
You lucky motherfuckers.
They played with Hammerfall? When did Chuck die?
What?
Dude, the touring lineup, or at least for the New York show, was Hammerfall, it was Shadows Fall, Hammerfall, and Death.
I remember Shadows Fall. I don't remember if Hammerfall was there.
It was the original Shadows Fall lineup.
Yeah. When they played Richmond, because it was a smaller club, I think it might have just been Shadows Fall and Death when I saw them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was funny, like when Hammerfall first started, they started getting lumped in for some reason with all these death metal bands. Like when they did live shows, I don't know why. They don't.
I don't know. They're pretty cool, though.
I know they do have some people that were in death metal bands in Hammerfall on that first album.
I don't know. The only bands I've seen are bands that have toured with death, like Obituary. I've seen Morbid Saint. That's a flex I have, that I've seen Morbid Saint. Not a lot of people have.
That's pretty cool.
But when did Chuck die?
2001.
2001.
December 13th, 2000.
It's the saddest event of that entire year.
That's it. Oh, yeah, that was fucking lousy.
Well, this is the first Death album, first two Death albums I've ever listened to in my entire life.
Okay, and that's my lunatic running around. That's my dude.
Is he a Death fan?
Well, now you need to go on through the rest of them.
You know what? I do have like a short clip of when I put him down to sleep while listening to a Death record. Yes.
Really?
Yeah, this was some time ago, but yeah.
That's interesting. I've been trying to get my son. How old is your son?
He's 2.
Oh, and he's already, wow, you got him into music pretty early. I've been trying since he's been born. He does listen to some things I listen to, but some other stuff he's just like, no, turn that off.
Well, music, it's one of my jobs, so, it's always around, Yeah. But,
all right, so Death, Leprosy. First of all, I like the album cover. The album cover is cool. That's a very iconic album cover too. Every time I see Death, that album cover is always portrayed. But I don't know, Angel, you want to give us?
I'd say it's like my third favorite from them.
Is your name Angel?
Sorry, yeah. I was just gonna add that before we.
Well, when I get to you, can add that. How about that?
Sorry.
How about you put yourself back on? Put yourself back on mute and just eat your.
There you go, right back on mute. He goes. All right, so how does this work?
You want to give us some background? Give us some background on Leprosy.
A background on Leprosy?
Okay, forget it. How do you...
I wasn't in a band.
I know you weren't in a band, but give us what got you into this album. What, how'd you get into it?
Oh, how did I get into it? Actually, the first Death record I had listened to, and then I got a mixtape from a friend of mine which had Living Monstrosity on it. And that's off of a Spiritual Healing. So I heard that song, I was like, oh, dude, this fucking rules. I got to go and get this record. So I went and found Spiritual Healing. Love that album. And, of course, then I went and did the back catalog. So I went from there and I picked up Leprosy. So that's how I discovered Leprosy. And I was like, oh, well, there's this fucking killer cover, and this is the same lineup from... Yeah, that's the only album with the same lineup on more than one record.
Oh, really? All right.
So Leprosy and actually no, I'm lying. The guitar player, they
swapped out guitar James players, Murphy is.
But 3 out of 4 were the same in those 2 records.
That's enough. That's close enough.
So yeah, James Murphy was on Spiritual Healing, and Rick Ross was on Leprosy.
Yep.
Interesting.
And yeah, dude, of course that record just fucking crushes too, man. I was like, holy shit! Like, what the hell is this?
Mm.
But yeah, just a mix of, it's very ferocious record. Even riff wise, Chuck's vocals are so angry, and aggressive. And then you got like these like minor melodic points, and then Chuck's solos are like bar none some of the best. You know what I mean? Through his entire catalog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really well put together death thrash record.
Yeah. Like what I said, this is my first time I've ever heard it, and now I can kind of tell now because everybody always praised Chuck for his guitar style and everything like that, and I can see why, because he is a really great guitar player. It has a lot of really cool. What?
You can
tone.
You can tell the difference. I mean, you can always hear when it was him.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, the second guitar player was always. I would always say was someone who was always maybe a little better or a little more shreddy, as you can say. He'd always have he countered himself with shredders later on, especially the first time he did that was in Spiritual Healing because he had James Murphy, and James Murphy's fucking ruthless on guitar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was Rick Ross, which I'm not gonna say he sucks or anything. He's more like a Kerry King type of lead player.
Yeah.
You know, and you can hear that contrast on Leprosy. Like Chuck was all melodic, and he had this beautiful phrasing, with whatever was going on. And then Raj would come with a solo, and it was just dive bombs all over the place,
Yeah.
And you can literally hear it through the whole record, like, oh, there's Chuck. It's all right, yeah, there's Rick Ross.
But that's cool. It gives you two different things,
Absolutely,
but,
you can totally hear the contrast.
Yeah. But I like the album. It's cool. I mean, I'm not really into death metal at all. There's a very few death metal bands I like. One thing that bothered me too, but then I listened to on Amazon Music, and right when the first song started of this album, Leprosy, it just has a weird sound to it. And on YouTube, it's got a totally different mix. So I got to listen to it again. But
they remastered it.
The remastered sounded terrible or something. I don't know. It just didn't sound right.
Here sounds pretty good. I mean, this is one of those ridiculous friends and family editions, but it's remastered from 2013, and it sounds really fucking good.
Yeah, I guess that's when they remastered that record, because they did a whole thing of remastering all the death records, and then they threw in a bunch of goodies, it's fucking 2 hours worth of music, 2.5 hours worth.
It's
of
the Disney Vault of Metal records.
Yeah, basically.
But whatever version they have up here, I don't know. It doesn't say. But it almost sounded like it was industrial at first. I'm like, why does this sounds kind of weird?
You know what? The record has a very
the drums kind of had an industrial type sound to it.
Yes, especially the toms.
Yeah.
The toms and snare, absolutely. It's got a very it's very flat sounding.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and I wasn't expecting that at all. I was just expecting something totally different.
It's sharp, I guess. It's flat and sharp. But there's still meat in there. It's very weird.
No, it's a very heavy album. It's got a lot of power to it, especially with the drums. Just a lot of heavy stuff in this album.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Craig, I'll let you talk.
It's a fucking monster, man. This one of those records that's bred into my DNA. The first one I ever heard was Scream Bloody Gore. My buddy Adam was listening to it in the car, and I had heard Possessed Seven Churches by that point, but anything heavier than that. I was like, dude, what the fuck is this? This is amazing. And I got the first three from him, and Symbolic was actually the current album at that time. I got into it from there. But, Scream Bloody Gore was definitely, I feel, the first true death metal album, but it was still pretty thrashy. On this here with Chuck's versatile picking and the contrast between him and Roz, and then even Terry Butler's bass playing, I really feel that this totally cemented exactly 100% what death metal was.
Dude, I dug Bill Andrews on drums, man. Yeah. I dug his playing.
At the very least,
Bill
with
Andrews
the floor
on those two records.
Yeah.
He kind of just held it togetger. But it worked. It worked. It totally worked.
I think that's one thing that threw me off a little. What, Nate?
Speaking of the drums, Angel, you're the only real professional drummer in here. Open Casket, that fast drum part at the end, is that a blast beat or no?
No, it's a fill.
Okay, because
Okay.
it sounds like it could be played as a blast if you really wanted it to.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
no,
you
we
play
were.
live, you
That's the one
improvise
thing
anyways.
about Death that kind of sticks out of many things is
There's no blast beat?
no blast beats.
No.
Ever. There's never any
Not-
fucking blast beats.
Not a single fucking grind.
Right.
Because, man, they weren't a bunch of fucking vegetarian protesters from England. They were from the fucking swamps of Florida, man. And they kept it
You just
doomier.
grindcore and like Terrorizer is better than 95% of death metal bands.
I love Terrorizer.
Terrorizer is fucking hardcore.
Now, I always thought that was weird about Death, too, but I honestly don't think they need the blast beats. Like, Bill Andrews does a great job on this record,
I don't think
and
they
I
need
think
it either.
his commentary really works. But
Also, too, when did this
that
album
feels
originally
pretty
come
early.
out? When did the album originally come out?
88.
88, yeah.
Were blast beats a thing in 88?
Yes,
I know-
Morbid Angel,
yeah.
Altars of Madness.
Mhm.
It's
Well,
that was
literally
89.
full of them.
Ultras
but-
came out 89.
They had written a lot of the
Scum came
music
out
by
in
then.
87. Carcass's Recaputrefaction came out
Oh,
in
yeah.
88.
That's
Symphonies
Yeah.
of Sickness was 89.
Wasn't World Downfall 87?
No, World Downfall was 89 too.
89?
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but consider the fact that a lot of this music had already been written in the underground by 88.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there was so much tape trading going on.
this-
Yeah,
this-
Blast Beats had to have been.
This fucking blast beat debate is insane
And Cryptic
because
Slaughter.
it can go on.
Cryptic Slaughter.
It can.
Cryptic Slaughter
But the-
existing.
The originator is Charlie Benante from Anthrax.
85.
So, what do you think?
What would you say
19
that?
What makes me say that?
Yeah, what song would you say that with?
Dude, look, just listen to Speak
AIR?
English or Die. No, not AIR.
AIR opens up with a blast beat, and so does what's the first song off of Among the Living?
Among the Living.
Among
What
the
is-
living,
yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's no.
Yes,
no,
there
no,
is.
no. If you want to say, like, I would say Charlie was really blasting on Speak English or Die, which was 85.
Yeah.
I agree with it.
So, you know, that's
kill yourself.
So
That's
Either way.
still dated pretty fucking
Yeah.
early. So.
That's right.
Listen, but there's a song by that band Billy Joel was in. Attila?
never heard of that one. No
Dude,
idea.
there's Billy Joel was in a band called Attila, and you
Oh
know,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
it's that where he's it's like Manowar. Like he looks like he belongs in fucking Manowar. Like
Yeah,
a Manowar.
yeah.
Dude, you guys got to do yourself a favor, and when this is over, look up Attila.
I will.
Type
never
in
heard
Billy
of it. And
Joel,
not the deathcore
Billy
band.
Billy Joel Attila. and there's a fucking song, and it has a fucking blast beat.
Really?
There's a fucking blast beat in this midsection of this. You know, I guess they called it like proto rock or whatever it was.
Yeah, something
But
like
it's got
that. yeah.
it's you know it's got like this circusy keyboard type of thing, and the drummer is straight up doing. He's fucking blasting. He's grinding.
Oh, yeah.
I got it up on YouTube. I'll watch it.
And that
Forgotten
shit is
Space
like
by Voivod. That's got a blast beat.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 87. Yeah.
mhm.
So see, Charlie Benante still in the lead.
85. And the guy from Attila in the 70s is doing
Well, he might be.
blast over circus keyboards.
But what's some of your favorite songs off of this one? I really can't remember any of the songs. I mean, I think it's the second one, Born Dead. Is that one kind of like?
Yeah, Born Dead's great, dude.
Yeah,
Cool.
I think it's.
Dude,
Yeah,
Born
that's gnarly.
Dead's awesome. The title track, every song on this record.
Every
is
song
great.
is fucking great.
I mean, Pull the Plug is a fucking radio-ready
Oh.
death metal song. 20
Yes.
years before anybody was ready for something for that. It's so fucking catchy, but his picking is so intricate.
Right.
It's badass.
Open Casket you mentioned earlier.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
another killer one.
Dude,
And
Primitive Ways.
my personal favorite is probably either Born Dead or Left to Die.
Yeah, Left to Die is such a great
Let-
song.
Left to
Let
Die
it be
is
mentioned,
fucking.
let it be mentioned, like Obituary got their entire sound from this album.
Oh, I mean, this is Morris sound right here. This is
Right.
Scream
Yeah.
Like Gore.
Right, but I'm saying like the doominess of this album, though. And the
Yeah,
use of all,
I could see a similarity between this and like Cause of Death per se.
But
You know
think
what
of
I
the
mean?
main riff of Pull the Plug, just that da 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 dun 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 dun. It sounds exactly like something.
You know, they're all
right?
fucking again. You know, Obituary. That's another Tampa band. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure. Listen, they were all like
yeah, I'm sure they probably stole stuff from
influencing
each
each other and all that shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's I don't know. Then I think of Deicide and Deicide are completely different.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so is Morbid Angel.
Right.
Yeah, but and then I mean, a lot of those bands were completely different. But even though they all corresponded. Like even Cancer, James Murphy played on one of their albums. They were from Britain,
Yeah.
and they sound
Yeah.
like they could have been a Morris sound band. Yeah,
Atheist.
yeah.
Is
Atheist is another great example.
I mean, Cynic is completely off the wall, but I'm not too into Cynic. I love Atheist though.
Well,
Cynic, I gotta be in the
Cynic
right
is
mood
more.
for.
Cynic was more fusion-y. You know, they definitely went
Right.
heavier on the fusion side, and then you had those robotic clean vocals,
Right.
and that could be a little off-putting, man. You know, it's definitely one of those. If you're not a musician,
it's piece of time though.
Even then you got to sit there and kind of like get yourself into that mood to listen.
Yeah.
And listen, Focus is a phenomenal record, start to finish. Like, I listened to it like probably another 20 times after Sean Reinhart passed. And I had probably, and I'm pretty sure I listened to another 10 times like 2 months prior to that, It's one of those records that just comes on rotation. And but even sometimes I'll listen to it and it's like, all right, I got to take a break,
Right.
And it has nothing to do with the music. I'll say it's the vocals for me personally.
Yeah. That's why I like Atheist though. It's just
with
like
that
Room with a View.
that said,
it's just,
right.
Oh.
With that said, I wonder what how much more into that record would people be if it was strictly just the death vocals.
I think it'd be a lot bigger actually.
Because
look at Opeth.
Yeah. If it was just death vocals and there was no, that really like weird fucking cyborg sounding shit,
right?
Alien shit,
right? Because you can look at Opeth and compare that. Opeth's all death metal vocal albums, so way more.
I think they got bigger once they, they did the hybrid thing, and that's when they got huge.
Well, I was going to say, I think
Heritage
sold
more
was
albums
their
than
biggest
Blackwater
album
Park.
ever.
I thought they
still haven't.
Park.
No, I doubt that. I think probably Ghost Reveries probably destroyed that. That album's huge, Ghost Reveries.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm more into Bloodbath myself. To
listen,
be honest.
that's the album that got that band into fucking selling out theaters and shit like that.
I don't know. I don't really pay attention to Opeth as much. I'm more of a Bloodbath guy.
Yeah, Bloodbath is great too.
I fucking love that logo too. What a great
I'm
logo.
a death guy, so
let's get back
Leprosy.
to
Hey, we're here album versus album. We're talking about all these other
so influential.
This is what happens.
It's so influential.
Yeah, you can't talk about these other bands without talking, talking metal and this other stuff.
Death first, everybody.
Right.
One thing I did want to say about this record too, Primitive Ways probably has what I would consider Chuck's first beautiful composition moment on it at the end with the acoustic guitar. That is just so fucking brilliant how that sounds.
100%.
Yeah. He just amazing the way he wrote music.
Yeah.
Yes, he was very good.
And my favorite two off of this, because I really love like every song on it, I'd probably have to go Open Casket and Choke on It. I love Choke on It, just a mad dash to the end.
Oh, Left to Die was pretty cool too. I don't know.
Yeah,
That is great.
right.
The title track. I mean,
That's the thing. There's really,
Born
like you guys are
Dead?
saying, there's really not that many bad songs on here. I'm just not used to, you know what it is? The vocals. I'm not used to that kind of, the death metal style. But there are some cool stuff on here.
some of this stuff, like really, like Born Dead and Pull the Plug, I think transcends genres. I mean, they're just
Right.
great
Yeah,
songs,
musically it's
no
good.
matter
Like
how you
Zombie
slice
Ritual.
it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, musically I like.
All right, so what about now? Let's
All right,
go on
now
to
we get-
Symbolic.
Now we get to Symbolic.
Symbolic, the more contemporary record.
Yes,
This
this
is-
band completely changed.
Worlds Apart.
Well,
yeah.
that's a totally different band.
Totally,
I
yes,
mean-
that's right. Totally different.
Totally different Chuck.
Yeah.
He was no longer evil Chuck Schindler at this point.
Chuck
He was
Schrodinger.
Chuck the philosopher.
Chuck Schrodinger.
Is that how you say
I'll
it?
say it how I say it. You
Schrodinger's
say
cat.
it how you say it.
Because he's
I-
a philosopher.
It's like
Schrodinger's cat.
Chuck Schuldiner, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah,
I thought it was shoulder.
Yeah, it's Scholden. It's Scholdiner.
Is it Schuldiner?
Yeah, it's Scholdiner.
Chuck
I thought it was
Schuldiner.
Chuck Shoulder. I don't know.
Shoulder.
Shut up, Nate. Put yourself
No,
back on mute.
Chuck Schuldiner.
No, it's.
But anyway,
I don't know. Every time I
Symbolic.
read it, it looks like shoulder. I don't know.
Every
Shoulder.
song in this
Shoulder.
album
Chuck-
also great.
Chuck Schuldiner.
Chip shoulder.
I'm not a huge fan of the album cover. I mean, it's cool. It's trippy.
It's album cover. Oh, that fucking stuff.
Yeah, just went up for sale.
That's the album when the album covers got weird was
Right.
pretty much the last like really cool looking album was Spiritual Healing.
Oh, Individual Thought Patterns looks kind of cool.
It's an album cover that fits that time period because everybody had like weird looking album covers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Then they had like really like
But it
like
also
human
fits Chuck,
human
though.
had the autopsy, like the medical book illustrations of like the human
Yeah.
body.
Oh yeah, but Humans as heavy as Leprosy is.
Humans
fucking
insane,
heavy.
but listen, we're not talking about human.
Right.
yeah, humans a completely different story. Yeah.
I'm saying because you can partially map the change in album covers to the change in music.
Well, with human, that was the changing point.
Right.
Mhm.
Pretty much, like that's it. We go from death thrash to this fucking experimental thing where we're throwing fusion in, we're throwing like crazy melodies. It was the changing point of death.
Right.
Chuck as a writer.
And then Symbolic, I feel, is where he perfected exactly what he wanted to do and had a band that was fluid enough to where they played this shit. It all sounds completely natural off the cuff.
Oh yeah, and everything is timed perfectly. Every
Yeah.
note.
It's
Yeah, why-
I said to Wayne earlier. It's Death's Steely Dan album for me. It's Therasia.
Right.
What made you pick this album, Angel?
Why not?
Well, out of all the other ones.
I don't know.
Is there a special reason for this one?
No, not at all. Actually,
I'm glad
Not
he
at
did
all.
pick it though. I think
glad-
this
Not at
one
all.
gets overlooked a little bit.
I think it's for me. It was you're at the definitive point of the death thrash era for Death was Leprosy. You know what I mean? Like that was like okay, that's the meat and potatoes. That's everything. And then Spiritual Healing is great. Scream Bloody Gore is also great. And then you have the Human was that point where, like I said, they were crossing over, and it's the total hybrid of these two these two elements. And now Symbolic, you're a little in, so I think it's good to put those two, the best death thrash, and then what some would say the best of that era of death with Symbolic.
Well,
I'm sorry,
glad
I could not find the words to put all that together. I'm like,
Okay.
fucking, I need
that's how
coffee.
usually I am on this show. But
I'm like,
I'm glad you picked. I'm glad you picked this album because I actually really like it. I thought it was pretty cool. Because
It's
Oh,
more
yeah.
modern. It's more modern sounding. The production picked up a lot on this album. The drumming's really great. I thought first it was Richard Christie because
It's Gene Hoglan.
It's Gene
Gene
Hoglan.
Hoglan. Yeah.
But they have a very similar sound in their style of playing, I think. Do you think they have like a similar style? I don't know if it was because when I put on this album, I immediately knew it was mixed in Morrison Studios because it has that Iced Earth sound to it, and I can tell where it was from. But
I mean, there was like for me, from the drummer's perspective, it's like I think that all started again with Human.
Yeah.
Because you had Sean Reinhart, and Sean Reinhart he pretty much changed the game for the genre, because there was nobody. He perfectly blended extreme drumming in its earliest form before blast beats or anything like that. Though blast beats was already happening when Human came out, with fusion and jazz. Nobody had done that efficiently.
You could say pre-Cannibal Corpse. Cannibal Corpse is what brought on everyone blast beating.
Yeah, but Sean Reinhart would do shit like a Purdy shuffle with it. Like I get what Angel's saying. Yeah.
No, I get what you mean.
When did Human come out? 93?
92.
92.
Individual thought patterns was 93.
We already had Altars of Madness, fucking Butchered at Birth, fucking FHU the Forgotten, World Downfall. There was already fucking
I forgot about World Downfall.
There were motherfuckers blasting. Deicide was already out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I fucking love Deicide.
And still, without a blast beat, a fucking a jazz fusion guy came in and laid down some of the most fucking brutally complex drumming parts ever. It was a game like nobody. Talked to people who discovered that band or heard that record when it came out. They were like, dude, there was nothing like that. Nothing.
Samuelson
everybody was, very formula. Metal had its formula.
Right.
Being death metal or thrash. This guy people were like, what the fuck is he doing? Double ride, like the hi-hat and the ride at the same time. The fucking fills, he was just playing all sorts of weird shit, dude. And nobody was doing that.
It's like he was playing his own song. It's cool, and he made it all work.
All on the money. It's all on the money. You listen to it, you're like, oh shit, this is fucking methodical as fuck. Yeah. Yet it sounds so free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sound of Perseverance is like that too.
You stop bringing up other albums. We're talking about fucking one album at a time here.
All right, so we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And then, so after you have someone like Sean Reinhart playing your band, you kind of want to keep the same type of momentum going. So eventually, Sean, the Cynic guys, wound up leaving the band, and then he got Andy LaRocque and Gene Hoglan and Steve DiGiorgio. Well, DiGiorgio was already on Human, so he stuck around, and dude, Gene crushes it. They continued with that. They continued with that progressive. It was less fusiony, but they still kept all like the odd meter stuff and like all like the weird polyrhythmic patterns that were
Right. This is probably what landed coming in Death Clock.
Dude, Gene is just that's a whole
like the drumming from Symbolic and all three
individual thought patterns.
Right.
Listen, he did Strappy on Lad for fucking years.
Oh yeah, and Dark Angel.
And Dark Angel was before that, but yeah. What else? He did an Old Man's Child record. I mean, dude, Gene is just fucking.
Yeah, he's played with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then so at even I saw a thing with Gene talking about where he says yeah, dude, Sean Reinhart changed the fucking game, and it was that pushed his playing for Gene. Gene was I can believe that. I had to play that stuff, and then try to carry on sweet, but in his own way, because Gene doesn't sound like Sean Reinhart. You know what I mean? It's not even.
No, he's more rhythmic.
Yeah, exactly. He's a little more. How do you say?
He's more bursty.
He's more bursty. Yeah. He's more
Yeah.
more power.
Like, I always think Death is Certain, Life is Not, like the intro like that, where he's just bursting the kick drums.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still, even like, Gene did fucking crazy shit on that record, dude. Like Zero Tolerance.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're up to Symbolic.
Right.
But like a song like fucking Zero Tolerance, that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just
fucking.
1,000 Eyes.
That fucking drum intro is dope. 1,000 Eyes, those triplets, the fucking, he's doing the fucking the polka beat, the Slayer beat, and then he's throwing in these fucking these threes on the kick. It's so fucking like, it's like I had never heard anything like that at the time.
He kind of invented it, to be honest.
When I heard that record, I was like, this motherfucker, like, look at those, like, these roughs. It's like, what the fuck? And, it's a fast song. Like, 1,000 Eyes is one of the quicker tunes. But, and then he's got I think the timbales or the congas in the beginning of, Empty Words.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And he just wrote, so, from a drumming perspective, Gene was another game changer. Like, he carried the torch that Sean had put out there.
Right.
Grabbed it and ran with it.
He's like rhythmic and atmospheric.
Yeah. Yeah. He had his own thing, man. Like, Gene just, again, another game changer. And there's a reason why he's considered one of the greatest metal drummers. Not even per se a death metal, just one of the greatest drummers of all time. Especially just one of the best in metal.
Oh yeah, he's in my top 5.
Do it. He can do it all. He's done it all.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, I was looking through the list of bands that he's in. I knew he was in a lot of bands, but I didn't know he was
all
in
of them.
He's like in every single band.
Yeah, I mean, he apparently taught Dave Lombardo double bass.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, he taught him how to double bass better, because there's not much double bass on Show No Mercy for a reason.
Yeah.
No.
To be fair, Dave Lombardo was like 17, and Gene was like 22.
Right, but so like Gene teaches this guy double bass, and then it's like,
and then the student surpasses master.
It's funny because listening back to the Show No Mercy, it sounds like a completely different drummer when he gets to the next album.
Well, he also has to record
listen,
the cymbal separately.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, from Show No Mercy to Haunting the Chapel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
A huge,
like chemical warfare is like
all from Haunting the Chapel to Chemical Warfare. That's where he fucking spikes.
Yeah.
The title track, Chemical Warfare.
Oh,
fuck.
Yeah.
And Hell Awaits, Dave was just fucking out of control.
Yeah, so that's the one thing that really stuck out to this on this album to me is the drumming, and I knew it was either Gene Hoglan or Richard Christie, and then I looked it up and saw it was Gene Hoglan.
Yeah, talking about Richard, real quick, because it was mentioned. I got that record when it came out, so like when I got into Death, it was only up until Symbolic, so that was all that was available. And then whatever, I think like a year or two later, Sound of Perseverance came out. And listen, man, that's probably the most complex, drumming wise, in the entire like Death catalog.
It's like freeform drumming.
It truly is, man. With that said, you talk to some people about it, and I defend someone like Richard Christie, and he's a really nice guy. I met him a bunch of times. And dude, there's stuff on that record that's I can't play it. It's like I still fucking whatever 20 years later, and I can't figure this I can't play this lick. Like I know what it is, but I can't play it.
Yeah. No, his control on the cymbal is amazing.
Right,
just,
again,
take it on and off.
It's funny. I was just talking to somebody about this on Facebook like yesterday or earlier today, and he hates him. The guy hates Richard Christie.
Really?
He was like he overplayed.
He does overplay a little bit, but he makes it work. He makes it work.
In hindsight, yeah, he's the overplayer of all the Death drummers. Yeah. Listen, again, that guy was a kid. He had no name. So I think when it's like, all right, I'm about to play for a band that spawned two of the fucking greatest metal drummers in history.
Mm.
And now I'm the guy that's I got to come in. Nobody knows who I am. He went for broke. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And literally every album could contest for greatest death metal album of all time. It's like you have to pick one so you can fill your top 10 with other bands. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's no way to not have at least 4 death albums in that top 10 if you don't limit it to one.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm still new to
dude,
it.
that's like I keep them away from any like top 10 or top 20 or any of that shit. Just again, man, it's like that's probably the only band I listen to that has a solid discography with nothing shitty.
You don't listen to Motorhead?
Listen,
we went over this before.
I'm not gonna go and be like, I love every Motorhead record. They have like 40 albums.
I love
I'm sorry.
every Motorhead record.
Not me. So
And they made some missteps. But,
I don't
Exactly.
love every Motorhead album, but I don't hate any Motorhead album.
yeah,
listen,
I mean,
you know what? I would have given Morbid Angel the same title up there with Death.
Oh.
If not for I, you know. Once Elude came out, I was like, they shit the fucking bed. Look at that. I'm shocked. They
Obituary's got a really good discography.
They shit the bed hard.
Cool.
Now, you know, at this point, when I say, you know, what I'm saying, it's all obviously personal preference.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not like, you don't.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
Morbid Angel fell apart.
If you don't think every fucking death record rules, you suck. Listen. Some people have their favorites, and for me,
well,
I don't have a favorite. My favorite death record is going to be different every other day.
see,
It's like, I love Spiritual Healing, and then like this is the best one, and then 3 days later, Individual Thought Patterns is my favorite one. It's like,
Scream Bloody Gore.
Fuck Spiritual Healing, or then Scream Bloody Gore.
It's
yeah,
Zombie
Scream
Ritual
Bloody
is
Gore
the
is
one
my
thing that
favorite.
pushes
There's
it over.
no question there.
I can't get over Zombie Ritual.
What,
But
you love that song?
That's the Hill I Die. Yeah, that's my favorite death metal song ever.
Zombie Ritual.
That intro, it's just jizz my pants.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Thanks for that vision.
It's delicious.
Dude, Scream
No.
Bloody Gore as a record is like a religious experience for
It's
me.
the best
I
death metal
fucking
album cover.
love that album.
That album
Makes
cover's
every
amazing.
hair on my body stand on end.
Yes.
Dude, my favorite tune on that record is probably Beyond the Unholy Grave.
That's a great song, too. Every song in that album is fucking awesome.
Great song, unfortunately not on the original vinyl.
Which one? Beyond the Unholy Grave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It came on that and Evil Dead were the two add-ons later on.
No, it's Beyond the Unholy Grave and Land of No Return. Evil Dead's
That
on
what
the
it-
original.
So Evil Dead is the actual last song of the original pressing.
Evil Dead, then Scream Bloody Gore is how
Okay.
it ends.
Scream Bloody Gore would have been the last song.
Correct.
Right.
I always
Yeah, 'cause
imagine
I have
Hammerfest
I have the
things.
fucking
Always
one of the I have the disc and like it's got
Yeah.
it's got those last two. It has like a star on it.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
it was they had those two songs that were finished that were left over, and they were released as a maxi single originally. But when they pressed it on CD later in the year, there was enough space on the CD where they just added it to it.
There you go. Well, I have it. Fuck the original pressing.
Dude, I've got 2 different original pressings on vinyl and 2 different ones on CD of just Scream Bloody Gore.
I've only got one copy. On
The
vinyl,
only
but it's
death
the
album
remaster.
I don't have a double of is Sound of Perseverance. I have the Japanese version of that, and that's good enough for me. And
Hold on,
even
give
though
me-
I love
give
every
me- give me-
Death
give me
album,
one
that
second.
would be my least favorite because
I'm going to
Yeah,
show you
go ahead.
something, Greg. I'm going to show you something. So I'm going to step away for a minute. I'm going to go get two things if I can find them real quick. And
we'll talk
I'm
bad
gonna
about you while you're away.
I'm going to fuck you guys up. Well, at least
Speaking of
the other
Motorhead, nice shirt.
Not you, Wayne. Yeah, come on.
All right, don't fuck
Come on,
me up.
bro. Come on.
Oh man. Anyway, I really like this album. I think it's pretty good. I mean, we were talking
It's-
before, and you guys are kind of
yeah.
picking on me about it, but I like it a lot.
No, it's a fantastic album.
great fucking record, dude.
I like
I always
the
thought-
mix of it too. So it's,
Oh yeah, there isn't really a bad death mix.
Right.
The
Well-
tone, the guitar tone is so good on every album. It's impossible to mix badly.
well, I thought Leprosy wasn't mixed that well, but it's also an
No.
old album. You know?
Right.
It's very muddy. It's
Leprosy's a little muddy production-wise, regardless.
Right,
but
and Scream Bloody
I
Gore's got all
mean-
that reverb, but
Right.
They were forging the sound at the time, so I don't think any of it really sounds bad.
No.
It's just there's certain elements that they improved on as they went. But I figured you would like either Individual Thought Patterns or this one, Symbolic,
Right.
the best way.
this is
Yeah,
why we need to get him to listen to Cause of Death, because the production on that album is literally flawless.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But it doesn't always have to be about the production for me. But I like this Symbolic because it does have better production, and also Chuck's voice sounds a lot better. You know, and I do love the drumming on this one. His voice, he got more, I guess, more comfortable with using his voice, and he also changed it for the better. You know, he's not so much like growly and stuff like on the.
I don't know if I'd say change it for the
It's
better,
two
but I
different-
do
For me-
still enjoy
for me,
him
it's
a
for the
lot
better.
here.
I can actually listen to it.
It's two different
It's-
vocal styles entirely.
Right. It is.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like it because it sounds more. I can, I guess, understand this one a little bit more.
I
The other-
wish
I'd
you
rather
would've
have that
stayed.
for that kind of music than I would have the lower kind of gutturals for that type of music. But if I have to
definitely.
choose between the two deaths that exist, I'm always going to choose death metal death.
yeah, of course you are.
Or
I
even
do
individual
wish
thought
he
patterns
would have
before.
kept the vocal style he uses on Symbolic on Sound of Perseverance, though, because
Yes,
that I do not like his vocals on that record.
I don't hate it, but i.e. Intro to Bite the Pain, that intro scream is fucking insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would have been a lot better with this kind of high to mid range.
That album is more him branching out into Control Denied than it is a full Death album.
Yeah,
I still love it, but he was leaving Death behind in his mind already, and it shows.
it's a shame.
Uh,
Every
So what
band that should stay good and last forever.
what
You know.
would you say, Wayne?
So what? He got rid of Death and did Control Denied. I know I've heard of that. Band.
Well, it essentially,
Or just
yes.
turned
He was
into it.
kind of evolving into what he was doing differently as a musician and wanted to do something a little bit different. And after he did Sound of Perseverance, he didn't feel the way he was writing fit Death anymore. So he went and did Control Denied with, I think Richard Christie was still on drums. Steve DiGiorgio stayed on bass, but yeah, he kind of ended the Death name. Had he lived, I'm sure he would have gone back to it at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have
sure.
toured and stuff again.
But,
People want to see it.
When they interviewed him about it, he didn't feel right continuing under the Death name. He didn't feel it fit.
And I get that.
Oh, I think he's 100% right. I mean, for all intents and purposes, really, Sound of Perseverance doesn't really fit completely. It's only
Right.
about 80% of Death record.
Right.
but what?
And I mean, Gruesome exists, and I can live with that being what Death is, basically, nowadays. Because I like Exhumed. So,
Yeah.
Exhumed's fucking gnarly.
But after hitting Symbolic, I'm definitely gonna look into some more Death albums
Oh, yeah.
because I
You
did
liked,
listen to that one that you
um,
suggested a few weeks ago. I wasn't too crazy about that one.
Which one?
The
Spiritual
one that
Healing?
yeah, the one that Nate keeps mentioning.
Well, I want to do
Scream
spiritual
Bloody
healing
Gore?
versus-
Scream Bloody Gore, yes.
Oh, Scream Bloody Gore.
Really? You didn't like Scream Bloody Gore?
It's not that I didn't like it. I just, where I was listening to it, I wasn't in the right, scenery. It's just, you got to listen to that certain.
I just love how amazingly evil that album actually sounds.
Yeah.
Because not often do you get that actual evil feeling from death metal. The way you do from a good black metal band. I don't know what it is, but fuck, man. The entirety of Scream Bloody Gore, it's like, oh, goddamn. And I don't know if that's
agree.
the Slayer in it, but,
I don't know. Did when I was listening to Symbolic too, I was wondering, did Dave Mustaine ever try to get Chuck in his band in Megadeth?
I don't know that he ever had talks about getting him in Megadeth, but I do know they talked about collaborating at one point.
Oh, yeah, because Dave wanted to collaborate with every great guitarist.
Because I could definitely tell he probably would have fit in, at least on one album fairly well. But,
yeah,
Symbolic
for whatever reason, it
entire
didn't work out.
And Symbolic's more of that Swedish sound too, though, in the mixing. It's like a drier, crisp mix instead of that
very,
full,
very clear mix.
Instead of that full filled out mix.
Yeah.
Which I like that full filled out mix a lot more, but that's because I keep imagining it as like mid 90 or like early 90s full mid mix, and where it's clear as a bell and it's beautiful. I.e., Cause of Death.
Yeah.
You can hear every ounce of that album. And, I mean, Roadrunner's released so many full dynamic range versions of these albums. Like, Massacre's just got one. What's the fucking debut where they're going into the fucking...
From Beyond.
Yeah, From Beyond. I'm too stoned to remember. But, yeah, From Beyond just got a full dynamic range remaster. And it's fucking awesome.
I'll bet it is. I've got one
that
of...
album's fucking great.
Jeez, Angel, this is the longest...
Altars of Madness, that's the one I have.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got a few of them. I mean, I've got a full dynamic range of Altars of Madness, World Downfall, a couple of them. They sound great.
They really do. It's the only real remasters in metal that I'm okay with them to keep releasing. Because they somehow just keep sounding better.
Well, the Back on Black series is pretty good for the most part, too.
Oh, you could buy any of them and be satisfied with the quality forever, but somehow they just keep sounding better each time.
Back in Black. I hit the sack. It's been so long since I've been back. It's time. Cut the noose.
You ought to hear the fucking version of Hell Awaits I have on that, man. Sounds like fucking Satan's in your house.
Nice. Yeah, you should hear my version of Scream Bloody Gore. I think it's the 25th anniversary remaster. I got it on 180 gram royal blue vinyl. It's fucking beautiful.
I'm very proud of you.
I paid like $40 for it. So yeah,
I think that's might be the same one Dan has. I know his is on like a blue marbled vinyl.
Which doesn't make any sense color-wise.
No. But anyway, that sounded really great, though. The original Combat Press I have sounds pretty good. The Under One Flag, you got to dick with the balance a little bit because there's so much fucking reverb on the record already.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I have to set my speakers apart when I put that on. I mean, like, further than they already are, or the buzz.
Yeah, they're pretty far apart.
Yeah. There's just so much fucking reverb on that record. He did the same thing when he produced Strapato for Slaughter. There's a fucking
Strapato for Slaughter?
Yeah, he wrote like half the songs on that. Who do you think Evil Chuck is?
Well, yeah, I knew that part. I knew he was involved in it. I didn't know he produced the album. I don't own the album, so I haven't read all this shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I fucking love Strapato, man.
Like, where the hell am I going to get a copy of Strapato?
Oh, that's right. Those fucking Metal Mind remasters,
I am
limited
so-
edition. They're probably like $40 now too.
We're talking about Strapato by Slaughter. Because Chuck
Great.
produced that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, produced it, wrote a couple of the songs. He wrote Fuck a Death, actually. That was originally supposed to be a death song, but he thought the lyrics were silly.
What was that you guys talk about?
My
Voodoo?
lyrics are too silly, but Scream Bloody Gore's lyrics exist.
Did you guys talk about Voodoo Death Cult?
Mm-mm. No.
That was that short-lived band Chuck did where he just played guitar on.
Sounds familiar. I think I've heard of that.
Hmm.
All right, what'd you go get?
I know I've heard it
It's the
before.
longest second ever.
Here we go, guys. I took forever to
Yes.
find this.
Just act totally unimpressed.
What about it?
Oh. So,
Men
okay.
at work.
So we got this
Good
fucking
one.
thing here, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. Do you have to dig through your couch cushions? Like, holy shit.
I just have a fucking shitload of stuff. How the fuck do I reverse? Oh.
Reverse what?
Oh,
Dude.
wow.
That's
Okay,
So-
yeah, that was worth the wait. Holy
hell
shit.
yeah.
There you go. I
mean,
figure we're
don't
talking about
edit
the
out the
record.
wait,
I
so it'll
gotta.
be worth it for everybody else.
I was like, I'm taking so long that I have to come back with this thing now.
That's
Amazing.
absolutely amazing.
Hey, where'd you get that?
Oh, it's like he signed it for me.
No
Yeah,
shit.
but where did he sign it?
No, he came to my house for dinner one time. No,
Your
This was
son
at
read
that,
that.
like
scribbled
that
on
time
it, didn't he?
Anthrax
I made
would destroy your
meatloaf. It
house.
was really quaint.
yeah.
Or at least that's how Chuck
listen,
described it.
Chuck, I heard you're a good cook. Come over to my house. Let me fuck you up real quick. No, it's at that the Sound of Perseverance tour, Hammerfall.
Oh, all right. So I got to meet him.
So I got to meet him, and they brought that. And I actually have Sound of Perseverance signed by the whole band.
Oh,
Wow.
Dude, that's cool.
Do you have it insured?
Yeah.
No, I mean it's sitting there in the same fucking stack this shit was in, along with
Oh
Man at
my
Work.
god.
I mean, I was originally gonna bring back the Best of Yanni.
But you bring back the Men at Work.
Oh my god. It's
Well,
sitting
he's
in
the
same
Messiah
pile,
of
folks. It's
music.
sitting in the
I actually
same,
kinda
it's
like
sitting in the same
Kind of
pile.
work, but
I mean, dude, I don't listen to these anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't listen to CDs.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I'm
I'll
I'm
give
saying,
you my
like,
address and you can send me that.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll keep it
All
safe
right.
for you. We'll keep
I'll
it
put
safe
it back
for you.
here. Where they
You
up
put
there
it-
death, right? I'll put it under. I'm over here somewhere in D.
Yeah, so when you have some other host up, you're like talking about that.
Yeah.
You put out this
Yeah.
album.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I met Chuck.
Yeah.
It fucking sucks. I don't like the album, but it's signed by him.
Here's this priceless artifact I have.
I don't give a shit about it. Look, somebody scribbled on it. Who cares, right?
Some jerk off.
It matters if they're
that's what I
dead,
have
Wayne.
to say.
I mean, you know, I wonder what
It matters if they're dead.
the value.
No, it's cool. It's got to be worth a lot
This
of
is-
fucking money.
Oh yeah,
Dude, just hang on.
First of all, it's
yeah. Greg probably
If it's
has
an
the
original
resources to
press-
find the value of that.
Yeah, if it's an original press, that's going to be worth something there. And then with Chuck signed it, forget it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's what I'm
it's
talking
the-
about. You might want to actually insure
It's the
that.
fucking combat version.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you might actually want to insure that, dude. That's probably worth a lot of money.
Although you're laid off, so you might want to sell it and make some money.
No, I'm saying if you wanted to sell it at a later date. Hell, someone might try to steal that now that it's
You
like
could-
out in public.
You could buy that electronic drum set that you've always wanted.
Yeah, you could. No, it's probably yeah.
Yeah. let's put it on eBay and let's find out.
Well, that's Dark Star. That's different, but
What the fuck?
Men at Work.
this one here,
They came back with another Men at Work album.
the first American press on Combat, which, by the way, was originally purchased on October 30th, 1987, for $350 from the Loch Ness Monster. But I've seen this fucker go for $200 on eBay.
What's $200?
The record.
Scream Bloody Gore on Combat.
He's
Just
he's got the Combat CD, and it's
I
signed.
got the Combat CD. So I don't even know. It just says Combat on the back.
The CD's worth around $40 depending on what press it is, but you have to match it up by the matrix number.
But it's
for whatever
also signed by
reason,
Chuck Schuldiner.
Yeah, I mean signed. You're probably talking priceless.
Yeah, this is the Antiques Roadshow episode where you win.
Yeah, I
buying
got
a
that
house.
one. First British press of it.
I'm buying a house off this album.
Spiritual Healing picture disc.
Just for the hell of it, I would put it on eBay and put like a what do you call it? I don't think what the hell you call it.
Okay, it's time. Why are you buying a house off of it?
Because he's dead.
Because he's dead.
Yeah, I know he's dead, but I guess it's because it's worth
It's
a
the
lot.
first album signed by him.
Oh.
It's the first pressing
one of
the
the first CD pressings of the first record.
Hey, Angel, do me a favor. Let me see
You
the
would
disc
rather
real
live in a
quick.
hole
I'll be
than
able to
sell
tell you.
Oh,
real quick.
wait a minute, dude. So hold on a second. Now that we're talking,
Oh no! If I started a
It's got disc
domestic,
rot. It's got disc
So-
rot.
so
oh no!
this.
Oh no!
Hold on. You ready? So look at the back there.
Mm-hmm.
So look at where the album titles end.
Yeah,
Scream Bloody Gore, just like you said.
right.
On the CD,
Yep, that's the first press. Because there's no red highlights around the letters either, and it doesn't list the two songs on the back. So that is the very first CD press from '87, signed by Chuck. You lucky bastard!
That's Pawn Stars
The only
material,
cool thing
like.
about my CD is Scream Bloody Gore. It's
Okay,
got a
come on,
bog
but
water
wait.
stain on it. You son of a bitch.
watch your head, bub.
And the bidding starts on under the comments on the Rat Salad Review.
At about $5,000.
Dude, I've held on to it this whole time,
No sense to let go of it yet.
No.
Yeah, that's something
I don't-
you don't.
I
give
No,
up
but that's
there.
something that
Also,
although
you would want to
something
keep
to-
safe in
you know?
case of an emergency.
It also
Like-
means something to me,
As I said, he'd rather live in a hole and sell it forever.
And
I would
ladies and
say,
gentlemen,
like, if you
that's
have
my
a fireproof safe at all, like with social security numbers and shit, I'd throw that album in there.
I mean, listen, and then you got I have the fucking Sound of Perseverance record signed, and that's the whole band, and
Yeah,
we
exactly. That could
we
also
lost-
go for a shitload of money.
Yeah, but 2 out of 4 members in that lineup have gone.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're sitting on a lot of money there.
Yeah. You really are.
I got like
You shouldn't have told your
stuff.
wife.
When I was
Oh, yeah, you're right.
a young whipper.
It's gonna go
A
missing
young
now.
whippersnapper metalhead, dude. I would go to the shows early and fucking.
I had to work.
I love you guys so much.
Right when I was 16,
This is the best
Job.
album ever. Chuck, I love you. Like that was me. Oh, Trey, fucking going to see Morbid Angel and shit.
that's cool as hell.
Looking on Discogs right now.
I mean, I met a couple of musicians, a good amount of it. That
The-
nobody who's like a legend like Chuck,
going on Discogs right now. The lowest
Nobody
one is
revered.
I
$70.
smoked probably the biggest
70
joint I ever smoked in my life with Obituary.
And you also met Lemmy, Greg. So it's
Yeah,
like,
Lemmy was great.
yeah, exactly.
Never got to meet Fast Eddie though. That's one I really regret.
So
I never got to see Motorhead. So you're still one up with me here.
So if you want to make
they were
Angel,
always great.
you want to make Angel a nice little, I don't know, throw him a price there, and maybe he'll accept it.
Yeah, we'll start at $20.
That's worth more than my net worth.
If you sell that, I will fly out there just to tell you what I think about that.
I'll pay for your flight tickets.
Too funny.
No,
All right.
that's definitely not going to go.
Yeah,
up
no,
for sale.
keep that for a
Yeah,
while.
can't-
Unless there's a
can't-
real emergency, then get rid of it. But otherwise, just keep it. There's no sense.
Right, exactly.
So anyway, we're still on Symbolic. What do we all think about Symbolic? Let's finish this up.
It's 10 out of 10. They're both
10
10 out of 10 albums.
10 out of 10 Symbolic, 10 out of 10 Leprosy,
Yep.
10 out of
I
10
agree.
Death discography.
10 out of 10 Death discography. So,
Exactly.
What about you, Wayne? Since you know what, yeah, your answer's going to
I'm
count
the
the
new
most
one here.
because exactly.
All right. I'm
Exactly.
going to give Leprosy. I'm going to give it like a 6. All right.
Okay.
Don't kill me.
All right.
No, you're
All
not
right,
into
no,
death
okay,
metal. I
okay.
get that.
Right.
That's
All
not
right.
the objectively good album.
Well, because of the mix, the vocals aren't too great, and the drumming's a little bit too plain, but the music itself is
Right.
good. It's a decent
Right,
album.
right.
It's not
No, it's not.
terrible
It's not the objectively amazing album here.
album. Right, exactly.
Okay.
And then Symbolic's a whole different thing. Mix is way better. His vocals are better. The drums are awesome. Everything's just awesome about that album. I'm gonna give that one an 8.
Okay.
All right.
I like that one. I like that one a lot more.
Okay.
Not perfect 10s, because I like the first half of the album more than I like the second half, but it's still a good album. And now I'm gonna have to listen to the rest of the discography. What?
It's that Doom Eater stuff. You don't get high. I'm like
I like
high
Doom.
as balls I'm like high as shit at work, going through grocery stores, just listening to Symbolic, and it's like I'm in a different world, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'll tell you
when
what,
I threw this on today, it brought back such a vivid memory of riding the bus to fucking junior high
Oh,
and
yeah.
listening to Symbolic on my Walkman.
Because I got into death halfway through high school, but only Sound of Perseverance for a while.
What were you
Well,
saying?
I just remember it because it was the fucking new death record,
Right.
and then I had it.
yeah, I was listening to that on a Discman
Oh.
on my way to high school.
Nice.
But Wayne, as far as check out Scream Bloody Gore. The drumming it's a little looser. It's a lot more frantic.
I actually did, because Nate's been talking about that album for a couple weeks now. So I gave it a listen in my car, but I wasn't too crazy.
Yeah, sit down. Chris Pfeiffer kicks ass, man. He's more Lombardo-esque, you know.
Yeah, it's very
Going around a
Slayer.
lot of-
It's very Chemical
very
Warfare.
Slayer. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. Just to end this off real quick, I got to play with share the stage with Autopsy
Oh, cool.
in Canada, and the bummer is that I didn't bring.
Get your thumb off the camera.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize it afterwards. Was like, why didn't I bring Scream Bloody Gore with me to get signed by Chris Pfeiffer?
That's a good point. I fucking love Autopsy.
Then I would have had two. John Hand I would have never ran into John Hand, so it wouldn't have mattered.
John Hand didn't actually play on the record.
So he's just on the picture.
Yeah, they just took his picture because he was touring with him, but Chuck actually plays every single guitar part on that album himself.
There you
Oh,
go.
so it's the Alice in
Yeah,
Hell of death metal albums.
I'm sure that was in the documentary and I missed it.
Yeah. I think he also played the bass on it too. Actually, I think the only
Yes.
two musicians on that recording are Chuck and Chris Reifert.
Chuck definitely played bass on it. That I remember.
That makes sense, because
he played all the guitars then.
All right. Well, very
And
cool.
you-
Thanks for introducing me to Death and making me actually finally listen to it now. Thank God. It's been so
Wayne, Wayne, it's you're a drummer too, so
sort of not as good as you though.
check it out. Nah, sorry. You
No, with
gotta
that
listen.
attitude.
I get it right.
You got to go to Human. Check out Human.
I will. I'm gonna check out more of
You
that.
know,
I'll talk about
Human
Sound of Perseverance.
and I know you'd like individual thought patterns and probably spiritual healing too.
Yeah, I mean, just give them all a shot, and you'll
Which
be
one's
surprised
Andy-
about
Which one is Andy LaRock on?
individual thought patterns.
Okay.
No, he toured for that. Gene Hoglan plays on the album.
No.
Andy LaRock is a guitar
What was
player.
it?
He's a guitar
Oh,
player.
Andy LaRock. Yeah.
And-
Sorry. Fucking...
Andy
Who
LaRock
plays
played
guitar
drums
for
for
King
fucking.
Diamond? No,
He's a man of many talents.
Gene Hoglan plays guitar.
No, of course. No, Mickey
How-
D is the drummer at King
how-
Diamond.
How did Chuck get with Andy LaRock? If he was in King Diamond, I'm sure he was busy. So how did he get him to do Death? Any
I mean,
idea?
he just got him to do the record, and it was only the solos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's all it ever was. It was like, hey, dude, want to do this album? Sure. And that's it. It's like you don't even have to play rhythms, just
Did
throwing
Andy,
leads.
did Andy produce it too? Because I know he's a producer as well. He might have produced it too. Didn't he?
I doubt that.
Maybe.
I don't.
There's
think
an
so.
interview. There's an
Wait,
interview.
actually,
I
did
got-
he?
He might have produced, and that might be why.
Now that
he
I'm
did
thinking
solos.
about it.
There is an interview with Chuck where he actually says how they got Andy LaRoche from that era. It's from the individual thought patterns
Yeah.
era. You look it up. He talks about it. It may have been that he produced it. I'm definitely not going to go back
What?
into my pile of CDs.
We
to
got another
look for
2 hours.
individual thought pattern. No,
What
I
year-
haven't.
What year was that?
93.
93.
Yeah, that's probably why he probably produced it. All right. Well, very cool. Where can we see? Or I don't know. I guess we can't see you anywhere. Everything's shut down.
You can't see shit. That's
Can't
it.
see shit of you. I guess, right? Well, what's going
Nothing.
on with them? Is the new album almost done? What's going on?
As of right now, Troy had sent me some of his vocals are almost done. He's got 2 more songs.
I've heard a few songs. Yes,
Yeah, and the vocals. So what do you think?
it's the worst album ever. No, it's
Shit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to
Especially-
hear it.
No, I can't.
This
Stop.
is my thing. This isn't
Why?
Wayne's thing. This is my thing. It's new Demo Hammer. Are you talking?
No,
Them.
no.
Oh, I thought you were talking new Demo Hammer. I was
No.
fucking
No,
I
sorry.
got real excited there for a sec.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Sorry. It's
I'd kill
just
for
that-
new
it's-
Demo Hammer. This
I
is
know it's
gnarly.
but this is about that shitty band I play in.
Putting
So
together an album.
That shitty band I play.
it's shitty band.
But when do we think that's coming out?
I like to say fall.
Yeah. All right.
Fall.
Cool.
I'm fucking. He sent me like little things here and there, so I'm like, all right, sounds good. But I don't like to listen too much during the whole the mixing process. So I like to track a record,
Mm.
listen to the stems when any edits have been done, any tweaking or whatever,
Digest.
and then that's it. Like,
Mm.
okay, cool, everything sounds the way it should sound. And then I don't really want to hear it until, okay, the album's been, here's mix number 1,
Right. Yeah.
which would be months down the line. So
Right.
I don't want to hear it till then because you can really hear the difference in what's happening. You're just hearing like the
It
raw
drives you
audio
nuts.
at first, and then fucking 8 months later, you got this fucking thing. You're like, holy shit. And then you try to compare it. You hear the difference. It starts to fucking like wear you out when you hear it time and time and over again. I'm done with it. I did my
And then-
part. I don't care. Show.
And then also too, if you hear it that way, do you feel like maybe you should play this drum different or that drum pattern different or something? Do you ever feel that way?
But also when you're getting things in steps. So like when Troy sent me a couple of songs that he had done with vocals, and so already some of the guitars were already done as well.
Mm.
And actually, just a little while ago, I heard a part of one of the tunes with the bass on it, and the bass was cool. I was laughing. I was like, "Oh shit! I've never heard it with the bass before. This is awesome." But you could still hear the unmixed drums. Like everything has this it sounds like a demo.
Yeah.
It's untouched. Everything is untouched and it's natural. And when you're layering things on top, once you're recording one thing, the focus goes onto that instrument.
Right. Yeah.
So whenever there's new guitars, the guitars are what's up in the mix.
Yeah.
And then the second guitar is what's up in the mix. And then the bass is all of a sudden up in the mix. Then when there's vocals, it's all fucking vocals. So then it's like, I don't know what I'm listening to. And it's, okay, I get it. Okay, that's cool. Oh, and then you close your eyes to kind of try to get through the mess and hear what's happening.
Yeah.
So, but it's cool so far. I'm happy. I can't wait till everybody's done. Goes right back to David Terrell and he just fucking works his magic and then I'll be like, oh shit.
I'm sure it'll be good. I'm waiting.
It's all fucking all natural. I told you last time, I didn't use a trigger on it.
Oh really?
No trigger on the kick. That's all fucking mic.
Oh, good, cool. That's the way to do it. Cut out all this fucking fake.
Fuck that. Nah, fuck that. Triggers for life, son.
Oh, fuck all the fake shit. Come on, let's get rid of trigger shit.
Good trigger on the kick. I've actually been thinking about taking a break from triggers altogether.
Yeah. Why?
Just for a little bit, and then going the old school route with a wood beater.
Oh, jeez.
The Danmar metal kick pad with moleskin.
Have
you ever heard of that? You ever heard of that? No, you've never heard of that combo. So that's how they got the triggered sound back in the day. They would use like either moleskin, but some guys use the fucking silver dollar.
Yeah, I heard that with the Metallica Justice for All. They used the.
Yeah, I think Sepultura did it. Like a bunch of bands did it. Vinnie Paul. So now they have Danmar. I mean, years ago they released this. A kick patch they can put on a bass drum head.
Mm-hmm.
They made one that's straight metal.
Oh, all right.
It's like metal, and you use a fucking wood beater on it. It's essentially a trigger.
Interesting.
And then you take moleskin. You know what moleskin is? It's actually like a foot product. It's like an adhesive with like kind of looks like a Band-Aid, but the adhesive is very sticky. So you put that over the kick patch, and that's what'll hold it up. And also it kind of like coats the metal a little bit to get rid of a little bit of that click.
Right. Yeah.
And then you just get a nice punchy fucking bass drum.
That's interesting. That's the way to do it, man.
So it's essentially triggering without using triggers.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the way my drummer does it. His philosophy is just hit the drum really hard. I gotta respect that.
Yeah, sure. That's cool.
No, he's got seriously though, he's got you know how people have a bunch of beer bottles they've drank on their windowsill? He's got that with busted drum heads and drumsticks.
That's good for him.
Yeah. He works a lot though, so he can afford new drum heads.
Can I go eat my meatloaf now?
Go for
No.
it.
RatsOutReview.com. Please buy a t-shirt. We need some money coming into our show. And please go check out Angel's bands, Demolition Hammer and THEM. And I guess that's it. You don't have no website or none, right?
If you don't listen to
Pornhub.
Pornhub.com.
Check out Angel's Pornhub. Tons of videos on there.
Pornhub.
Gay
It's
porn.
called Meat Blast.
Meat blast.
All right, see you guys next week.
He
Adios.
just vibrates the snare with his dick.
That's terrible. Bye.